You're listening to the Mortgage Success Podcast, a show created to inspire mortgage brokers to achieve optimal success in their mortgage businesses. I'm the host, Brian France, the author of the book, Internet Marketing for Mortgage Brokers, tripling your online sales by getting your internet marketing done the right way. I'm also the founder of Mortgage Broker Marketing, the digital marketing agency for the mortgage industry. On each episode, I'll be sitting down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they've learned, and how to find success in your mortgage business. Hello, Mortgage Success Podcast listeners. With me today is Dale Vermillion. Dale, how you doing, man?
Oh, Brian, I'm doing good, man. Good to be here.
Awesome. Thank you for joining. So talk to me about your start in mortgage, what you were doing before and how you got into mortgage. And I'm sure it wasn't, you went to school, right, to become a mortgage broker.
Well, I've got almost 40 years in this gig, so this is my 39th year in the mortgage industry, and I started back in 1983 as a loan officer, just literally graduated high school, worked construction for 3 years, was standing on a scaffold one day, and a guy said, "You talk a lot, you ought to be in sales." So I took him up on it. I don't think it was a compliment, by the way, so I got a job selling pots and pans door to door for a year, did incredibly well, but didn't want to do that for a living, and got an interview with a mortgage company, and 40 years later, here I am, still doing it.
Wow. Awesome. And so you saw a need in the mortgage space, right? You jumped on it to sales training, coaching, and just all over customer service, leadership. Talk to me about your training systems and your customer service systems.
So, it was interesting because I spent 12 years in the industry, from a loan officer to a branch manager to a district manager to a regional vice president, and I ran a national mortgage company. So my last corporate job, I ran a 2,300 employee mortgage company out of Chicagoland area with about 900 loan officers. And what I found was, as I searched around for companies that could train my people, there wasn't any. Like, everybody was either motivationally based, it was a bunch of pump you up kind of stuff, or it was just real fundamental basics. There was not a true selling and leadership system that was out there. And I'd actually created one as a manager. And that's why I was able to get promoted so fast and run so many companies at such a young age. I was only 28 when I ran my first mortgage company. So, I decided in 1995 to move out of the corporate side because I saw an opportunity in the mortgage industry, and basically said, you know what, I'm going to create a company where we create and we offer very strategic, very uniform and very proven techniques to sales and leadership. And then we expanded that to operations. And since then we've worked with, wholesale, retail, consumer direct, everything in between. The bottom line is our system is really based on, I've trained over 1 million loan officers in my career now, and over 650 companies around the country. So it's based on the best practices of the top producers in the nation. And I just teach a proven system for how to sell in the marketplace.
Awesome. Yeah. So what do you see, where do you see opportunity now with loan officers and say companies, so he shifted into a buyer's market over the last year, and where do you see opportunity?
Well, it's interesting, Brian, because everything that you see out there today in the media is all bad news, bad news, bad news. And the fact of the matter is, it's a super opportunistic market, super opportunistic. But you have to understand that what I'm seeing, and I train thousands of loan officers every month, you're either, in today's market, there's either haves or have-nots. It's either loan officers who are absolutely crushing it right now and actually breaking last year's numbers, or they're dying on the vine. And the difference is, have they shifted their sales approach from the 2020, 2021 high volume, low rate market to a conversion mindset where it's now, it's high rates instead of low rates. It's low volume instead of high volume. So now you have to invest a lot deeper in every single relationship, every single conversation, whether it's generating referral partners and spending more time with your referral partners and being out there when others won't, or it's spending more time with the customer to really get to know them in a powerful way.
Right. What, so you mentioned referral partners. Where do where do people start? They've probably lost touch with their referral partners over the last couple of years.
Yep.
What do you see? I know a lot of our clients, they're reaching out, they're calling their past
Yep.
clients. Is that the
Yep.
first step?
Well, the first step is to get a list of partners, which you can get all kinds of lists today that give you not only the partners' names and locations, but their production numbers, how they're trending, all of those kind of things.
Yeah.
And the key to referral partnerships is once you get the list, begin before you ever start reaching out to them by researching those partners one by one. Look at their website, look at their social media. Go onto their social media, like their pages, start to comment on their pages, get them to see your name for a couple of weeks. And then once you've done that, it's really nothing more than shooting a quick 30-second video, shoot it off to them and follow with a phone call. And by then they know who you are. By then they've done it. And here's the key, here's the golden rule to any referral partnership. You got to give to get. You can't call them up and say, hey, I'm a great lender and I want to talk to you about being your loan officer. They don't want to hear that call. What you got to call them up and say, I know that today's market is tough. I want to talk to you about how I can partner with you to help bring customers to you and help you expand your offering so you can qualify more borrowers in today's marketplace. Because you said something earlier, we're in a buyer's market now. Yeah. I don't know if you've looked at the population numbers, but if you look at Gen Y and Gen Z, it's 168 million people. When you take the baby boomers and the generation after that, it was only 132 million people. So we're in the biggest population numbers and the biggest need for housing ever. We just have a high rate problem. Well, you know what? The average rate for the last 50 years is 7.76. We're below that. So we're not as bad a shape as we think.
Yeah. Yeah. And so a lot of millennial buyers are in the market. How do you see that come into play? How do you see relationships there? Or like, how do you build trust with that market? Where do people start there?
Well, here's the first thing. Everybody thinks because millennials are the mainstay and first time buyers is the biggest part of the market, which it is, that they're all tech heavy, text and email message and online application kind of borrowers. And that's completely the opposite of the truth. The fact is there is no college degree on how to buy a home. Right. Today's millennials do not have a clue how to deal with a mortgage transaction. What they want is a relational-based loan officer who will educate them on the market, help them understand important things like seller concessions and how you can get those to buy down your rate and what a buy down even is, how to qualify for a mortgage, the fact that you don't need 20% down, how to walk them through grant programs and low down payment programs, and how to really help them understand that with the market shifting, even though rates are up, property values on the listing side are dropping fast. So it may be a better time today to buy than it was 6 months ago when the rates were 3% less because of the difference in the price on a house. The bottom line is it's an education process today. If you're an educator, you'll do very well. If you're a salesperson, you won't sell a lick.
Right. If you're selling rates, right? It's
that don't work. That dog don't hunt, as I like to say.
So you mentioned that you don't need that technology for them, right? They want an educational process. Where did you how did you find that out?
Well, it's not that they don't need the technology. Let me be clear about that. Your technology is very, very powerful. The mistake that loan officers are making is they're all technology and no relationship nowadays. That's the problem. What you have to do is merge your technology for efficiency and ease with a good old-fashioned relationship and education experience so that they walk away with a great experience and they go, you know what? I love my loan officer. They really help me to understand how to buy. It's about bringing the personal touch that's missing in today's marketplace, especially after 2 years of COVID. We need to reach out and connect with our partners and with our customers more than ever before.
Right. Yeah. The technology is there for the customer, right? To make it easy for them, but we can't look over educating and being there for them.
That's correct.
All right. What challenges do you see in the market right now?
Well, obviously, with the rates where they're at, refinance has become a challenge. There's no question about it. There is no rate and terms left for all intents and purposes. It's only cash out and debt elimination. That's all you've got right now.
Yeah.
But there is plenty of opportunity there if you approach it properly. And remember, every deal that you do in the purchase market, it's a 2-for-1 because you're gonna get them in the house now, and you're going to look at refinancing them down the road when rates drop, because they will. They always do. So it's working through a purchase heavy marketplace where you're focused predominantly on the purchase side of the business and really trying to figure out how to help your borrowers get into a home. Because if you look at rents, rents are at record highs when it comes to the increase in rentals each year. Renting's not a good option for anybody in this marketplace, in this economy. So,
It's 100% interest.
It is, and the bottom line is there will always be homeownership will always be the American dream. So we're not going out of business anytime soon. You just got to keep a good attitude about the marketplace. You can't get all depressed. You can't have a pity party every day, and you can't sit around and hope for things to change, because hope's not a strategy. You got to have a strategy to create a massive referral network or generate plenty of lead opportunities so that you can augment the kind of production that makes sense.
Yeah. What do you see with so you work with a lot of companies, a lot of loan officers. What do you see the most success with in the current market? What do you see them doing? What are they like their day-to-day? What do you see them doing?
Yeah. So if you're in the retail side, and when I say retail, I'm talking about referral partner, third-party origination side of the business, the traditional broker model. The ones that are doing really well, there's a couple of things that are very true about what they're doing. Number one, they own their market. What I mean by that is they know everybody in their marketplace. They're out there in the field. I say this all the time. You got to be in the market to win the market. And they're out there. They're not just sitting in their living rooms every day, thinking they're going to build business. They're actually working with their realtors and working with their customers in the marketplace. And they're highly relational in their approach. And they've just got a massive network is really what it comes down to at the end of the day. And they're pounding the phones. They're pounding the street. That's what they're doing. And the consumer direct side, if you're more lead based, they're just dialing for dollars, man. They're making 300 dials a day. And that's what it takes in today's marketplace to succeed.
Got it. And so when people come to you, how long have they been in business? What's your ideal customer for you, or ideal company?
We work with a big cross section. I work with some of the biggest lenders in the country, big banks, big credit unions, and big independent mortgage bankers. And we also work with some broker shops. It's really a cross section across the country of different sizes, from shops with 20 loan officers to shops with 2,000 loan officers and everything in between.
Oh, got it. And where do you see yourself fitting in, or like right at the beginning of the relationship? Where do people get the most value when they work with you?
I think we're probably most well known for our selling and leadership system that basically is based on proven strategies that just works in a rising rate market like we're in today. That's what I came out of. I sold 17% rates for my first 7 years in the business, and I had 200 loan officers working for me and doing those kind of rates, and I had people doing 30 loans a month, believe it or not. So high rates don't scare me a bit. I can teach people how to sell in this market when others can't. Mm-hmm. So that's probably where our greatest strength comes. But I would tell you that my clients tell us that where a lot of our strength comes from is the consulting I do with their executive team and help them understand how to manage this marketplace and how to just make sure you're building your business properly to be successful.
Right. It's awesome. So more and more people are going to the mortgage professional first, right? Now that there's tools out there like Credit Karma, right? They're educating people like, I need to get the financing lined up before I find a home. What do you see? Where do you see success, like people having success using social media or video? What are they doing? And where are they focusing in these channels?
Yeah. Again, I think the key is education. I can't say that enough. It's like we got to quit selling and we got to start educating.
Yep.
Consumers don't know how to deal with this marketplace. They don't know if it's the right time to buy.
Yeah.
They don't understand the dynamics of property values and listing prices and all the things that are out there today that a lot of realtors just don't explain to them the way that they probably could or should.
Yeah.
So if you can become a true advocate for your borrower, if you can be the centerpiece of the transaction, which you should be. A lot of loan officers let the realtor be the centerpiece. I never want that to be the case. I want to be, as the lender, the centerpiece, where I'm providing you a great system of checks and balances with your realtor or your builder. I'm going to be the one who's the primary educator to help you understand how to get the home and get it at the lowest cost you possibly can and the most affordable payment. And I'm going to help you to do the things that will help you get in a house as quick as possible. I think it's really an education play today.
Yeah, totally. And even with the realtors, I mean, I'm sure half of them out there don't have experience in an environment like this, right? What
They don't.
So what, how can a mortgage professional start educating their realtors? I was talking to a client recently, and he went out to a meeting with a realtor, asked him why he's sending deals to that loan officer, and he just said he thought he was more creative because he was getting an email, and he was getting an email about a new product or a new loan option.
Right.
And so just that simple thing, he thought he was more creative, and he's like, no one's more creative than me. How's that the case? So just that a simple email, what else could they be doing for their realtors?
Well, it's interesting because I recently interviewed a top producing loan officer who's going to do over $140 million this year in business.
Right.
So we're talking top line production. And I asked her the question, I said, what do you think is the number one thing the realtor wants? She goes, well, I'll tell you the answer based on my number one realtor who sends me a heap load of business.
Yeah.
When I asked that question, the answer was show up at open houses, come to the open houses. Loan officers aren't doing that anymore. That stopped when COVID started. And if you can get out and you can help me to qualify more borrowers, if you can help bring me more opportunities, that's what I want out of you. So it's really just being a partner to the real estate agent versus being just a vendor for the real estate agent. That's the key.
Right. Focus on helping that realtor, right?
Right.
Love it. And that's it. I do have one more question, Dale. What would you say is the biggest insight that you've seen over the years for someone starting out in the mortgage industry?
Yeah. I would say the most important thing is don't get jaded by the industry and become one of those people that is just nothing but talking mortgage stuff all the time to people.
Yeah.
Actually build relationships with people. It's, my son-in-law started his own mortgage broker operation this year, and he's wildly successful. And when I asked him the reason why, his response was, well, he goes, when you first got me in the business, in my first 6 months, I was taught, bending people's ears constantly on all these mortgage terms, trying to tell them how smart I was, and I wasn't selling anybody. The minute I just started talking to my customers and finding out what they wanted and just solving their needs, the business completely turned. So it's don't think you need to know everything. You don't. What you need to do is serve your customers, serve them well, put them before yourself. Make them first. We have a philosophy called Other First here at Mortgage Champions. It's what we're built on. It's based off my life verse out of Book of Philippians, chapter 2, verses 3 and 4. It says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in all things with humility, value others above yourself, looking out for their interests, not your own. That's it. Put your customers and your partners before yourself. Be humble. Don't be arrogant, and just solve their needs. You do that, you're going to win big.
Awesome. Where can people find you? Where can people website? Is there anything to download? Free consultations? Start there on the website?
Yeah. Shit, I'm all over the place. So yeah, DaleVermillion.com, MortgageChampions.com. Google my name, you'll get 10 pages of stuff. So it's not hard to find me. That's for sure.
Awesome. Dale, it was a pleasure. Thank you for your time. We'll see you on the next one.
Brian, great being here. Thanks for having me.
If you would like to generate more sales through your digital marketing efforts, please visit mortgagebrokermarketing.com and get a copy of the book, Internet Marketing for Mortgage Brokers, tripling your online sales by getting your internet marketing done the right way. Also check the training section of the website for guides on everything from running effective pay-per-click ads to optimizing your Google My Business listing. This has been another episode of the Mortgage Success Podcast. Thank you for listening.